excited. I'm really excited. So today is the day that the program actually launches. It is now going to be open to the public. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the program. I have allowed some of you to sign up early, right? We did a special and I said for one day, this is going to be open. It will be closed all the way until Friday. And so many of you jumped in. We're actually over halfway full. So now that I'm opening to the public, I have not opened this outside of this Facebook group and those of you on my wait list. And so now it's actually going to open to everybody. That's going to go out this afternoon. So okay, so I've got your comments right here. If you have anything to say to me during this live, please feel free to do so. And then I'm going to, we're set here. I'm going to make us go live on Instagram too. So I'll be talking to both of you here. All right, let me actually get this pulled up first. Like I said, you ladies are getting the behind the scenes here. Okay. Just hit live on Instagram. Perfect. We're live on Instagram as well. So today is the live video 3 of 3. So we've done, I went live on Monday. I went live on Wednesday. Today is Friday. It's the last day I'm going live. I'm going to give you some really good tips today as well. And I will, shortly after this, I'm going to launch the program. I'm going to open the doors to the program. I do want to warn you, the program is already over halfway full. Okay. I did a surprise, like open the doors for one day on Monday and said, if you guys want to get in today, get in. I will not open the doors again until Friday. That's what we have done. So because of that, so many of you have been waiting patiently for this program to launch. And so you jumped in on Monday and again, we're over halfway full. So the program will, it will fill up. So I will leave the doors open for a week. I will be emailing you about that. I'll be talking about it on here, but if we fill up prior to the end of that, then of course I'm going to have to close the doors. Okay. So we'll talk about all of this today. If you have any questions, please feel free. I can actually see both comments today, both in my Facebook group here. I can see your comments, and then on Instagram, I can see yours as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will answer. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that we've been talking about this week. And I'll make it clear again about who it is that I'm speaking to. And I am speaking to, first and foremost, is women. Okay, I'm speaking to women. Yes, I have a history of helping both men and women, but this particular program is going to be just for women. Those of you in my Facebook group know that we only have women in the Facebook group. So which women am I speaking to? Mainly, it's going to be women over 35. Now, I've had a lot of women who are not quite 35 reach out and say, okay, I know I'm not 35. Can you still help me? Because I'm still struggling with a lot of the symptoms that you're talking about. And absolutely. Okay. I find that a vast majority of women start to experience these symptoms at 35. That's when it happened for me. And the reason for that is because we start to get closer to perimenopause. And that's where all of these symptoms are coming from. Okay. It's these change in our hormones. And so I'm speaking to women who are having trouble losing weight. So maybe you used to not have trouble losing weight and you're trying some of the attempts that you used to use to lose weight and that's not working anymore. Or maybe you've kind of just always struggled with your weight. Okay. For myself, I've always known it was harder for me to stay at a healthy body weight than it was for a lot of the friends that I had. I just knew, like I've known this since high school. I knew. I couldn't eat the stuff that some women could eat. I mean, I remember there was a girl in high school, gorgeous girl, beautiful, just beautiful. She ate a mini Pizza Hut pizza every single day at lunch. And I remember thinking like, there is no way that I could do that without, gaining a lot of weight. And so I've just always known that I can't. This is where our DNA is going to come into play. Okay, that is why we are using DNA as part of this program. So I'm also speaking to women who are wanting to get your energy back. There has been a shift in your energy. Now, the self-talk that comes with this a lot of times is, I'm lazy. I've gotten lazy. I've become unmotivated. That was my self-talk, because I actually used to enjoy waking up in the morning and going for a run. And I got to the point where it was like, I have zero desire to wake up and go for a run. I still did it because of my stubborn personality, but I didn't enjoy it. So I knew that something had happened to my energy. And rather than having the negative self-talk of, oh, I've just become lazy, let's dig. Let's find out where and why did you lose your energy? Because we can get that back. I'm also speaking to women who would like to desire sex again. And this is an important conversation to have with yourself to see if you have lost your sex drive. It's not as apparent to women generally if we've lost our sex drive. To men, it would be much more apparent. God just made them that way. But for women, we don't always recognize that we've lost our sex drive. But guess who does recognize it? Our partners will recognize it. Okay, so that is one thing that we are going to bring back for you. I had completely lost my sex drive. I had. And I think my husband is amazing. I am attracted to him. I mean, everything. There was absolutely nothing wrong with him. It was literally me. But that can be very hard for your partner to understand. Okay. I am speaking to women who want to sleep deep again. You want to fall asleep. You want to stay asleep. You want to wake up rested. All of these things that I'm talking about are ways that we are going to live with optimized health. That's what we want to do. It's not about, how long we can live, right? I've seen somebody live to 99, but guess what? The last 15 years of their life, they were basically in bed because of so many ailments. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to have quality years, right? And so we have to optimize our health now if we want to have those quality years later. And sleep is going to be one of the things, it's one of the requirements to make that happen. I'm speaking to women who have maybe put on some midsection weight that you're wanting to drop. It doesn't make any sense to you. Maybe you haven't changed anything. You're not changing how you're eating, but that midsection weight is coming on. And it may be just in this kind of like tire-ish kind of feeling, right? Like you're putting on a tire, or for some of you, it's a lower belly pooch, where when you look at yourself, in the sideways in the mirror, you see this like, am I pregnant? Right? But you're not. So I'm speaking to those of you as well. I'm speaking to women who want to poop again. Constipation is huge for so many women. And you should be going every day. You should be going every single day. Now, I struggled with constipation since I was 9 years old is the earliest I can remember. I'm sure it was before 9 years old, but at 9 was the point at which I remember at some point, somehow in conversation with my mom, I said something about, I think my stomach hurting or something. And I think she just kind of asked like, well, have you gone to the bathroom today? And I said, it's been a few days, but I thought that was normal. And at that point, it's when my mom said, you should be going every day. I mean, I had no idea. So going back to 9 years old and probably sooner, now looking at my DNA, I can see why I wasn't pooping. Mine actually went back to my liver. My DNA tells me like, Tanya, you better take care of your liver. If you want to poop every day, if you want to have clear skin. I had acne at 9 years old, not a little bit, a lot, over my face, over my chest, my arms, my upper back. All over, took everything for it, right? Dermatologist, antibiotic. I mean, just all this stuff, but it was coming from the inside. It was because of my liver. So we're going to look at all of this stuff for you. And I'm also speaking to the women who are wanting to get rid of the night sweats and you're wanting to get rid of the hot flashes. Okay. So if any of those describe you, you're trying to lose weight, but having a hard time, you want to get your energy back. You want to desire sex again. You want to sleep well again. You want to get rid of the midsection weight. You want to poop again, and you want to get rid of the night sweats, which obviously will help with your quality of sleep, right? We've got to get rid of the night sweats. which can kind of be meshed in with hot flashes. So I actually had shared a hotel room with a girlfriend fairly recently, and I have a habit of asking people when we wake up, how did you sleep last night? I'm genuinely interested in what kind of sleep people got. I just know how important it is. And each night that we woke up, she said, not that great. Just my hot flashes. Kept having to throw the covers off. And I keep the room like a meat locker. In fact, when we started sharing the room together, I said, are you going to be okay if I just like totally turn the air down to like it's a meat locker in here while we sleep? And she said, yeah, that's fine. No problem. Let's do it. In fact, since then, she now keeps the air down in her house too. Did you know that you're supposed to keep the air super duper low at night? Like it's supposed to be cold while you're sleeping. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the program as well. But I said, why are you suffering with hot flashes? You don't have to live this way. So fast forward to now, of course, as soon as we got back from the trip, she signed on with me. We're working together. Hot flashes are gone. Okay. That's what we are going to work on together. So I spoke with you in the last video about what you can do, just some usable tips that you can apply. Hi, Barbara, that you can apply for your weight, because a lot of you are struggling to lose weight, but it's not because you're eating too much. It's actually because you're not eating enough, but you're so scared to eat more, because if you're only eating this much and you're gaining weight, what's going to happen if you eat this much, right? But if you've adjusted down on your calories, then your metabolism is going to adjust down too. Your metabolism is simply going to meet you where you are. So we've got to get you to eating more calories. We also talked about the fact that you may be eating foods that your body doesn't want you eating. Your DNA may tell you, don't be eating that all the time. Or you may have some food sensitivities. And I shared with you how you can figure out which foods you're sensitive to in that video too. So go back to video 2 if you want to learn what you can do without having to order a food sensitivity test, which I have some of those here. But not everybody has the budget to go through that whole process, right? So there is a way to figure out if you're eating foods that you are sensitive to. So go back to video 2 if you want to hear about that. And so you may also be gaining weight or not able to lose weight because of your liver. Now, most people will say, well, no, I shouldn't have a congested liver. I'm not an alcoholic, right? I don't drink that much. But it isn't necessarily the wine, although the wine can be playing into it, okay? But it may be your DNA. It may be the liver that your mom and dad gave you. So we've got to get your liver decongested. Okay, and that's what we're going to do here as well. We also talked about fatigue and some of the things that you can do to help get yourself some more energy. And one of those things is going to be to sleep better. And you might think like, oh, I wish it was that easy. Wish I could just sleep better. But we have a responsibility in taking care of our sleep hygiene so that we do sleep better. It's up to us to create that foundation so that we can fall asleep when we're supposed to and wake up when we're supposed to. I shared with you that I don't set an alarm anymore. Of course I do if we have a plane to catch or, something that's happening early, but 99% of the time I don't set an alarm. And I generally wake up sometime around 5 o'clock. This morning, I woke up at 5:45. That's just what happened, a little bit later than I had been waking up. That's what my body needed. But the way that I've trained myself to do that is by going to bed early and doing the right things before bedtime, right? So I give you all of those tips in video number 2 as well. You also want to make sure that you have a completely dark room, completely dark. I'm talking the tiniest of lights your brain is going to recognize. So if you don't have the ability to have a completely dark room, then you need to get yourself a face mask that you can sleep with. And in fact, it's important to have a face mask anyway, because when you do travel and go stay in hotel rooms, sometimes there's weird lights, right? They've always got that clock right next to you, which yes, you can turn down. And then you just find all these. I remember staying in one hotel room where I was like, it felt like daytime in the night because they just had all of these lights from the TV, just all of these things. So I was like throwing towels over everything, right? Trying to get sleep. But if you take a face mask, then you won't have to go use all the towels to cover all the lights. The other thing that you'll want to do is remove your caffeine. I recommend after 11 a.m. Don't go for that mid-afternoon caffeine drink because you're getting tired. We need to figure out why you are getting tired. And guess what? Some of you shouldn't be drinking caffeine at all. And I know that sounds like Sounds like I just cussed at you, right? But that's your genes are going to tell you. So you're going to actually get that information from the DNA test that we're doing as well. And then we also talked about struggling with sex drive and some of the things that you can do to revamp your sex drive, because this oftentimes has to do with having low testosterone, having low estrogen, and dysfunctional adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands are oftentimes the reason that your sex hormones become low and insufficient. So if we can make sure that we are tapping into our parasympathetic state throughout the day, our rest and digest state, our calm state, this is going to help our sex drive. When you are experiencing stress, and this can just be low-grade stress, nothing crazy, just daily life, paying bills, raising kids, doing our job, making deadlines, all of those things, that keeps us in our sympathetic fight or flight, go, go, go state. And when you are in that state predominantly, you're not going to have a sex drive, because your body, your brain doesn't know the difference between stress over paying bills and stress over running for your life. And so when you experience stress, your brain thinks you're running for your life. And guess what? The last thing is that God wanted us to think about when we're running to save our lives: sex. Right? So that really does get put on the back burner. There is a reason why we've lost our sex drive. In fact, many reasons, but we're going to cover all of those in the program. But one of the things that you can do is making sure you can do breathing techniques to get yourself into your parasympathetic state. You can take a 10-minute break where you go and you just lay down and you be. But we don't do this often enough because we don't have time, right? But if we don't make the time, I promise you the time will be made for you via sickness, via not feeling well, via not having the energy to do anything. I had a crazy experience where the time was made for me. It ended me up in the ER for 9 hours. And I'll share more about that, not in this video, but at a different time in the program. So this is why all of these things, these are all things that we are going to address inside DNA Reset for Fat Loss. So we are going to combine your never-changing DNA results with your ever-changing comprehensive lab test results. So I'm going to send you this DNA test kit. It's super easy. You've got this long, thinking of the word, Q-tip looking thing. Literally, all you're going to do is swab the inside of both of your cheeks, making sure not to touch your teeth. There's a prepaid FedEx envelope. You're going to break off that little Q-tip thing. You're going to stick it inside of this little tiny thing right here. Write your name on it. Stick everything back in here, back in this envelope, and there you have it. We're going to have your DNA results. So we're going to take those results. Now, your DNA is not your destiny, right? Just because your DNA says something, my DNA says I should be obese. True story. But because of epigenetics, which is the way that I live, I'm not. But it is valuable information for me to know what my DNA says so that I know what it is that I need to focus on to make sure that I am not, right? So we're going to take those results. We're going to find out so much information from that. I'll cover that here in a second. And we're going to combine it with a comprehensive lab test. You are going to go into a LabCorp. They're going to draw your blood and they're going to send me your results. And from there, I'm going to see, where are you right now? What is happening in your body right now that can help explain why you don't have any energy? I can always pick that out on a lab test. I'll know exactly why you don't have energy if I'm looking at a lab test. I'll know exactly why you can't lose weight if I look at a lab test. So I'm going to interpret those results and I'm going to create a protocol for you based on that. We're going to combine both of those. Okay. So what we are using in this program is a DNA kit and comprehensive lab testing. Those are both included in the overall price. So what are we going to find out? We're going to find out things like, does your body have an affinity for fats? Does your body want you eating fats? More specifically, saturated fats. My body has an affinity for them. My body does like that I eat them, but not everybody's does. And this is why sometimes you've looked at a friend who's lost 50 pounds by switching to keto and you gained. Didn't work for you. Not only did you not lose, but you gained. Your DNA might say, your DNA might even say fats are okay, fats are good, but not saturated. And don't confuse that with me saying saturated fat is not good for you. Generally speaking, it is very good for you. In fact, it's your heart's preferred fuel source. But we need to know what your DNA wants you eating. My DNA also really likes me to eat fats that are, olive oil, avocados, things like that. So we're going to find this out. Does your body have an affinity for carbohydrates? Some of you are okay with eating carbohydrates, but we will learn that. And some of you are not. My body is so-so with carbohydrates. Doesn't want me eating a ton, but I can have some. We're going to learn about your satiation levels. What this is your fullness level. So for those of you who've always felt like, gosh, I always have to eat more than the next person to be full. I feel like some women feel like they have to eat more than their husband at mealtime to feel full. This goes back to your genetics. And if we find that you are one of those people who needs more food to feel full, then let's address that. We're going to make sure there's certain food items that you're going to fill your plate with so that we can reach that satiation sooner. We are for sure going to make sure that you are eating in your rest and digest parasympathetic state. We're going to learn what kind of exercise is best for you. Should you be doing high intensity, low intensity, power movements, weightlifting, endurance? What is your body the best at? What is going to be most effective for you so that you're using your stored body fat for energy? We're going to learn about inflammation. Not only how likely are you to experience inflammation, but also once you have the inflammation, how good is your body at resolving that inflammation? My body's not very good at it. I'm very inclined to inflammation, and my body sucks at getting rid of it. This is valuable information so that I can make sure that I'm living my life in a way that's not causing inflammation. Because once I have it, it's going to stick around. This could be by eating the wrong things. This can be by drinking alcohol. This can be by exercising too much. I lift weights 3 days per week and no more. 3 days per week. Now, does that mean I do nothing the other days? No. I can do some active recovery. I can do some stretching. I can do some yoga. I can go on a brisk walk. I can go on a bike ride. But I have to give myself those days in between to recover from that inflammation. Not all inflammation is bad inflammation. In fact, we need inflammation. It's actually very protective. But when it sticks around for too long, that's the problem. We're also going to learn how your body responds to caffeine. Some people are fast metabolizers. Some people are medium metabolizers. Some people are slow metabolizers. And when you're medium or slow, guess what? Have that 1 cup of coffee in the morning, but no more. Even 11 a.m. would be too late for you. It's going to keep you up at night. Some of you have an affinity for depression and anxiety when you drink any caffeine at all. And some of you are going to go, you know what? That does kind of make sense. I have clients who remove coffee for a period of time, sometimes just to try it and see if there's any benefit. Not all of them, but some of them will say when they go back and add that coffee back in, even if it's early in the day, they don't sleep that night. And that's your body letting you know whether you should be drinking the caffeine or not. These are all things we are going to learn. So we are going to find your blueprint. We're going to find your blueprint to weight loss, to energy, to all of those things, because it's not the same as your sister necessarily, could have some similarities. It's not the same as your girlfriend or your cousin or your people at work, your coworkers. We're going to find your blueprint. And we're going to do this together. This is a group program, but I am interpreting. So you are getting the one-on-one touch in this group program. Now, why did I create this program? It is because I have been in your exact shoes. So I've been a professional in the health and fitness industry for over 20 years, maybe something like 23 now. But I've evolved over the years in who it is that I help. So initially, where I started helping people was actually competing in competitions, figure competitions, bikini competitions, physique competitions. I could get anybody a six-pack. But that has evolved over the years. And here's why, is because when I hit my mid-30s, all of a sudden, I couldn't lose the weight anymore. And don't you think I know what to do? Of course I know what to do. Not only did I used to compete in figure competitions, but I was helping others step on stage to compete in competitions. I knew what to do. Despite that, my weight was just kind of going up. Nothing crazy. I didn't put on 50 pounds, but I couldn't take off what I was putting on. My face felt very round. Now, I've got a big head. I have a round face. It's, I've always had it, always will, but it was extra. Like even looking back at pictures of myself during that time, I think, oh, you poor girl. I mean, I just see it. I look tired. My face is inflamed. It was really a sad time, actually. I had no sex drive, zero, and I mean zero energy. At this point in time, I owned 2 stores and I was doing nutrition seminars at both. Nutrition seminars are my jam. I love to give them. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I got to the point where I thought, oh, I hope not enough people show up today so I can just go home. And of course, people were showing up. So I went to our little refrigerator and I grabbed an energy drink. Not my style. I knew something was wrong. I had a lower belly pooch, which was very confusing because that part, yes, I was gaining some weight, but that part I knew wasn't fat because sometimes it would just go away. I'd wake up some days and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, it doesn't look so bad. And so I did what a lot of you have done. And I know a lot of you have done this because after this doesn't work, you come to me and we resolve your issues. I did what a lot of you have done, which is I went to my doctor. And I said, please run all the labs. Like, I need to know what is wrong. I don't want sex. Like, I could just totally live without it. I could be roommates with my husband. My hair's falling out. I have no energy. I'm gaining weight. I have no motivation. And the day that my results came back in, I thought, amazing. I'm going to have the answers and I'm going to be able to resolve this. And instead, she told me, your labs are perfect. I wish I had your labs. You're going to live to be 100 years old. You just need some vitamin D. And I was devastated. I was devastated because, so this is it? I'm just getting older? But I went to work because I knew that wasn't the case. This is when the entire trajectory of my business changed because I was able to get answers. I ended up being diagnosed with adrenal exhaustion, with hypothyroid and underactive thyroid, low testosterone, low progesterone, and a parasite. All of those things have been resolved and have stayed resolved. Now, that doesn't mean I went through this optimization process one time and I've just been great ever since. No, I work on this regularly, every year. I run my labs every year. Where am I at? What do I need to optimize? And so I've taken myself through this process and I created a step-by-step process to take you through it as well. Furthermore, because this is now a group program, the cost is going to be less than working with me one-on-one. So you can join in on this program year after year after year. Some of you are going to take this program 3 times in the first year, because we're going to do this together every January, May, and September. And initially, when you get started, you should run your labs every 12 to 16 weeks. That's what I did when I got started. Then I went down to twice a month. Now I'm twice a year. Now I'm down to once a year, because there's always something to work on. So that's what you're going to get in this program. I am sharing the exact blueprint that I use, and we are going to find your blueprint based on your genetics. So here is what the program is going to look like. We are going to work together for 8 weeks. We've got 8 modules. And in your first module, that first meeting when we come together, I will have already received your lab results. I will have already interpreted your lab results and created your protocol. Okay, this is going to be for your comprehensive lab results. So when we come together that first week, we are going to talk about all of them. You will all have your own personal protocols in your own personal portal. You do not have to share your information with anyone. However, you are welcome to if you have some questions during our time together each week. So I will get you set up on your protocol week 1. Week 2, I'm going to introduce the real food sugar detox that we're doing together. And let me tell you, a sugar detox is a whole heck of a lot easier to do when you're doing it with people rather than doing it alone. I know this from experience of different detoxes that I have put on over the years. And I know that when it's a group program, those people stick to the detox better than the people that I work with one-on-one who are doing it alone, who have people in their homes saying, what is it that you're doing? What do you mean you can't have that? Right? But when you have this group that you're doing it with, and we have a chat where we can come together and talk and share about how we're feeling, it's a whole heck of a lot easier. There's going to be different levels to choose from on this sugar detox. There's going to be one level. This is going to be for like those who were like, let's do it. If I'm doing it, let's just go all the way, strip me down. Those people are even getting rid of coffee. Then there will be another level where maybe you're not quite ready to go to the stripped down version. And that's fine. In the future, at some point you will be, but you might try that next version where we do leave coffee in. Maybe there are some, maybe you can still have sweet potatoes, right? There will be different levels you can choose from. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to guide you that entire week through a complete kitchen clean out. Because I can tell you, well, go clean your kitchens out. And you might go, well, okay, what's step 1? I'm going to walk you through step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on how to do your kitchen clean out to set yourself up for success. I understand you've got other people living in your homes and you can't clean everything out, but I'm going to guide you through that process on how you can do it, even though you have little people living in your homes, okay? Or a husband who's not completely on board with this. Week 3, we're going to start the sugar detox. We're going to officially start the detox together and make sure that everybody is set up for success that week. We're going to talk about how our kitchen clean outs went, how did our families give us the side eye as we were throwing some things out. Week 4, you will already have been on the sugar detox. This is a 21-day detox, okay? Week 4, 1 week into that detox, we're going to cover your DNA results. You're going to have a complete PDF workup on all of your DNA results. And we're going to walk through those to make sure you understand everything about yourself. The next week, we're going to talk about blood sugar regulation. You'll be 2 weeks into the detox at this point. Because without blood sugar regulation, you cannot have optimized health. Not possible, won't happen. And by this point, you're already going to know if you're struggling with blood sugar regulation because your labs are going to tell us. So some of you are going to be listening really close this week. The following week, you have now been on the detox for 3 weeks and the sugar detox ends. But see, we just went over your DNA test results. Because of that, we know how you specifically should be eating. So you are now going to be guided from this real food sugar detox over to, okay, so how do I eat now? We are going to make sure that you are eating for your DNA, and I'm going to guide you through that process. The following week, we're going to talk about adrenal health. I don't think a lot of women understand the importance of our adrenal health when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. Your adrenals, without balanced adrenals, you are not going to have a successful transition. Who doesn't have balanced adrenals? Of course, people with a lot of stress, but I'm looking at you, driven women. You type A's, those of you who push through, get things done, your adrenals are stressed. And that is not going to make for a smooth transition into perimenopause and menopause. And then our final week together, we are going to talk about hormonal harmony, how to achieve that, how to have balanced hormones. This doesn't necessarily mean hormone replacement therapy. Some women choose that route. A lot of women don't. But we're going to talk about how to know whether you need it or not. And I'm going to make sure that you are set up for success moving forward at the end of our time. And at that point is when you're going to decide, do I want to join in on the next round? Because what that means is I'm going to get my labs done again to see how far I've come and then be put on a new protocol. And let me tell you, it's not a bad idea to go through a 21-day sugar detox 2 to 3 times a year. I think we can all agree that after coming out of the holidays, best time to do it, right? So that's what our 8 weeks are going to look like together. I'm going to make sure that you are set up for success and that the program is priced accordingly, that you can hop back in. Because every time you hop back in after that first initial time that you join is going to be a lot cheaper after you've gone through it that first time. Okay. And I know some of you are thinking, like, I've tried everything. Like, I've tried it all. I've tried all the diets, but it's not working. That's because you haven't tried what works for you. You haven't tried what works for your DNA. What works for your DNA is going to be satisfying. So you're not going to feel like you're white knuckling it. Some of you are thinking, like, I never stick to anything. Sometimes things work for a minute, but then they stop working because I don't stick to it. Also, that's also because you're not doing what you should be doing for your DNA. If you feel like you're white knuckling it, you're not going to stick to that. That's what I did for years, competing in figure competitions. I white knuckled it down to 4% body fat. I didn't stay there. My gosh, no. Between shows, my weight just huge fluctuations. That's not what we're looking for here. Some of you are feeling like I probably don't have the willpower. I don't want to spend the money on this program because I don't even have the willpower to stick to anything. We are not using willpower here. My goal for you is this. For those of you who have sugar cravings, where you have what I consider to be like a magnetic pull to sugar, like you're at work, you never planned to eat sugar this day, but somebody brought in donuts. Somebody brought in some kind of treat and you're like, well, there goes my day because I'm having it, because you can't say no. I am not training you to have the willpower to say no. I will be successful when you come back and say, it's the craziest thing. My coworker brought in donuts and I always have, or maybe cookie crumble, right? And I always have to have cookie crumble, but I was fine with saying no today. Like, sure, they looked good and they smelled good, but like, I was fine. I was just able to say no. That's when I have been successful with you. This is not a white knuckling willpower situation. Now, I asked some of you to let me know, what is it that you've tried? What have you done that either hasn't worked for you or maybe did work for you for a period of time and then stopped. Like, share some of those things with me. And so I'm going to go over what some people have said. I'm going to talk about some reasons as to why maybe these things didn't work or didn't work for the long term. So keto's a big one, right? Because keto got really, really big, maybe around like 2017, 18, like really started to grow. I'm a huge proponent of keto, not for everybody, but for a subset of people. So somebody said, I did keto and I gained weight, even though I was in ketosis. And there's a couple things with this. You can be in ketosis and still be overeating on calories, right? That's a possibility. But let's say you're not overeating on calories. Let's say you were within a caloric range, but you're gaining weight. We may look at your DNA and it's going to say, stay away from, keep your saturated fat low. Watch out, generally speaking, on your fats, because your body doesn't process them well. So that could be a reason why keto didn't work for you. Your DNA may not want you to eat a ketogenic diet. Somebody else said that they did Weight Watchers when they were in their 20s and it worked really, really well. But now she has no desire to be counting points. Like, it's just too much for her brain to be counting points. And I understand that, because our food should not be this thing that we're keeping at the forefront of our mind and entering into apps and what are we eating and what does it say and how many points is that? That's not what we're looking to do here either. I don't want your eating to be your focus of your day. No. Now, initially, as we're making some transitions and, adding in some good habits and where you're getting your foods from and all of that, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of more time from your day, but I'm going to walk you through that. So by the time that you are on your own, you're just doing it. Like, you're just living that way. We're not counting anything. I don't want you counting points or calories. I don't want you doing any of that. Now, somebody said that they have done carb cycling and that carb cycling actually has worked for them, but they end up sabotaging it. This is the thing. This is what I don't like. See, sabotaging has a bad connotation to it, doesn't it? I sabotage myself. Now I'm blaming me. I'm blaming me for not continuing with carb cycling, because carb cycling itself works. I'm the bad guy, bad woman. No. See, when you're doing carb cycling, you're playing with your insulin levels. And I've given carb cycling diets to competitors, okay? So here's what happens. And for those of you who don't know what carb cycling is where you may start your week out eating a lot of carbohydrates with very low fat. And as the week goes along, you're eating no carbohydrates with a lot of fat. And one would think that the days where you're eating a lot of carbohydrates would be so fulfilling and satiating and you'd feel so happy. Those were the days where my athletes would say, I am so hungry on my carb days. I just want more and more carbs. Well, yeah, because you're having this major insulin spike. And so your body's hungrier and hungrier, more specifically for sugars, for carbs. Okay, so if you're a person who's struggling with insulin resistance, carb cycling is not your choice. That is not your method. Okay, and your labs are going to tell us that. Now, your DNA is going to tell us if you have an affinity for diabetes or insulin resistance, but your labs are going to tell us, are you struggling with that right now? And we're going to set your plan up according to that. Somebody's tried plant-based. Here's the thing with plant-based. Might be okay for some people. But if your DNA is saying, I want you to keep your carbs low and your fat higher, plant-based is not going to be your jam. Because you know what plant-based is? It's all carbohydrates. Right? A vast majority of what you're eating is just going to be carbohydrates. Even vegetables are carbohydrates, right? But you're going to be eating a lot more. It's called plant-based, but it's not like people just sit there and eat only vegetables, right? Only vegetables and fruits. You got to get your proteins in there, which are going to be more carbohydrates. So if your body wants you eating more fats, plant-based is not going to be a good option for you. Another person said keto actually did work for me until I hit menopause. And now I want all the sweets. Can't stick to keto anymore. Well, a lot of times with menopause, perimenopause, and menopause, we start to see insulin levels start to creep up. And what happens when those insulin levels creep up? You crave more sugar. So again, it's not willpower. It's not because you're sabotaging. It's not because you're bad. It's because from the inside, your body is making you crave these things. Of course, everybody likes sugar. Like, who wants to turn down a donut? But you should not feel a magnetic pull to it. Okay. And a lot of people just say, oh, I've just always had a sweet tooth. We can change that. Okay. We can change that. Another person said, what works for me is fasted cardio. Okay. That's waking up in the morning and not eating or doing it, just straight to cardio in a fasted state, 3 to 7 days a week, with a minimum of 1 hour in the gym, 3 to 4 days a week, with a hyper-focused nutrition plan where I'm calorie counting to stay in a caloric deficit. I'm exhausted just reading through that. Sure, that works. Right? Of course that works. Can you stick to that? No. You can't stick to that. For a period of time, you can. To step on stage and do a show, sure. But to live your life that way, no, of course. Of course, that is not going to work. And another person actually said, I did your keto plan and it worked for me. And I got down to 16% body fat and felt great. So that person, keto is for. I bet we look at her DNA and it says, eat fat. Your body wants you to eat fat. You're going to burn it. Okay, so those are all of the things that we're going to be looking at. Is there a benefit to taking a food allergy test? Sorry if you already covered it. Nope, I haven't covered that. So food allergy test, sure. It's, here's the thing. You're going to know if you have a food allergy. Food allergies are serious, right? A food allergy is like when somebody can't eat nuts or they can't eat shellfish and those sorts of things. Food sensitivity testing is different. That is, what foods are you sensitive to right now? Those can be beneficial, but those are not permanent. What happens a lot of times is somebody will run a food sensitivity test and they pull out the foods that it says they're sensitive to, and they feel good for a little bit, and then they start to feel bad again. And the reason for that is because you just create new food sensitivities. The thing to understand is that food sensitivities are created by disruption in your gut. They're created by overgrowth of bad bacteria. They're created by different pathogens you might have in your gut. And so you have to go in and heal those things at the same time that you pull off the foods you're sensitive to do it properly. So food sensitivity testing is something that I do with one-on-one clients, but it's not the place where we want to start. If things don't resolve, then we know we can go in that direction, but generally it's not a place that we have to go to. And it's a whole heck of a lot harder to follow, actually, some of the foods that you can't eat. What if we already have gone through a sugar detox and eliminated them? We should go through sugar detoxes at least twice a year. At least twice a year. It's a reset for your body. Because you want to know what also happens at the end of a sugar detox? You reset your palate. The things we eat, the things that are made nowadays are so hyper palatable, meaning they've got all these tastes, and it starts to require your tongue to need more taste. And when you strip all of those things out, you strip out the processed foods, you strip out the sugar, you come back after that detox and you go, wow, that tastes way sweeter than before. So for example, we all know that a green Granny Smith apple is kind of tart, right? So if you taste that at the very beginning of the detox, you're going to go, yeah, that's tart. By the end of the sugar detox, just 21 days in, that green Granny Smith apple is going to taste sweet to you. So perfect that you've done a sugar detox and eliminated things. Do it again. This is why I'm offering it 3 times per year so that you can jump in at any point in time that it's time for me to reset again. And it's time for me to get my labs done again. You don't have to do your DNA again. That's for everlasting. But the labs you can do again. Great question though. I love the questions. And these videos are going to be posted after I'm done here. Okay. So if you have any more questions and you're watching the recording later, please leave them in the comments and I will get back to you and answer your questions. Okay. So we are opening the doors today. For those of you who are liking this conversation, you want to continue this conversation, you want to get your results, you want to know your DNA, you want to know finally what to follow to get you to where you want to be. Your doctor has told you your labs are normal. I talked about that in the first 2 videos. Great. All that means is you don't have disease. Wonderful. That's great news. That doesn't mean your health is optimized. I want you to feel as amazing as I feel now. And let me tell you the difference. You actually don't realize how bad you feel until you start to feel better. And that's what I want for you. So the doors open today. I will be emailing about this. We're going to keep the doors open for, I think I have it set for 5 days. I'll make sure that you know. But I do warn you that the program is already over halfway full. That is because I did a surprise one day. Hey, it's open if you want to jump in on this day to secure your spot. I have not had it open for 4 days. And now I'm going to open it officially today. So if you have questions, let me know, but you're going to want to hop in because I do have a cap. The reason I have a cap is because I am interpreting. This is not going to be some watered down group program. I won't do it. Won't put my name on it. I'm not doing it. I am going to be interpreting your results. So the doors are opening today. And as soon as I open them, I'll even come back and put the link in the comments. Okay. You can go check out everything about the program. I outline what all the modules are, what you're going to get out of this. So make sure, keep your eyes and ears out. And if you know you want to do it, get signed up. Because I won't be open for I can't remember if I have it open for 5 or 7 days, but I will not have it open the full time if I fill up. Okay. So let me know. I'm going to close it up now, but let me know if you have any questions for me. Please put them in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, whether you are on Instagram. I'll be loading this to YouTube, wherever you are. Put your questions in the comments. And I am so excited for each and every one of you who is going to jump in. Now, listen, this is a beta launch, meaning this is the first time I am ever launching this program. You only launch something the first time, one time, right? Because this is beta, the price that this program is this round is going to be the lowest price that it is going to be for the rest of the round. So just keep that in mind if you are thinking, maybe I'll jump in on the next round. You sign up now. We're going to get all your labs done. We start together after the holidays. We start together January 10th. Okay, so enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your New Year. I'll be interpreting your results, creating your protocols. We get started together January 10th. And we'll be together for 8 weeks. Okay, leave your questions in the comments. I will be back to answer them. And I will be here in the next hour or so, sending out the link for those of you who know you want to join. So give me your questions. It's been amazing talking with you all. And this is it. Last video. Feel free to go back to video 1 and 2 if you want to catch up on the other things that I talked about. And I'll see you guys inside of the program. Thank you.